Hey everybody, what's up? Pokemon, that's what's up. So a couple of weeks ago, maybe even closer to a month, I said on my channel, I had this whole big video saying that I've decided to start making my own Pokemon region, my own Pokemon game. Pokemon Star and Cross, that's what I'm calling it. And it's going to be based in the Molash region, as I call it. Now, one of the many things I've noticed in that video, which was about an hour long, is that I am really not good at talking at all. That's why the video was over an hour long. And another thing is that this thing makes a lot of noise, so I'm going to put it over here for the time being. Now, again, as I've mentioned, that video was about an hour long, so I had a lot of stuff to talk about in that video. Mostly I talked about the starters and the inspirations that I got when making them and what their names stood for. I said a lot of details about those starter Pokemon, but I didn't really get a chance to talk about why they are the way that they are, and I didn't really get a chance to talk too much about the region itself, the concept behind the region that I call Molash. First of all, Molash is Shalom backward because, you know, it's a Pokemon region based on Israel, and if a Pokemon region based on Hawaii can be named Alola, I guess I can get away with calling an Israeli Pokemon region Molash. I mean, it's not that on the nose, as they say. But also, another thing that happened, first of all, for the last couple of weeks I've been trying to schedule some time to make this video, to talk about the concept, but then I started getting a little bit of a headway on making the map and designing the map with the same artist that also helped me design the starters that I showcased in the previous video. So I preferred to have the map first, then make this video and talk about the concept. So I'm gonna switch over to the map right now so you guys can see. Right, so first of all, the first thing you can notice is that it's very clearly Israel, but it's not 100% Israel. I changed a few things around. First of all, I took the Golan Heights and just moved them to the top of the map to kind of make the map a little bit more linear, and also it kind of looks like the map is kind of wearing a hat, more like kippah, which is a traditional Jewish hat. I also shortened the map a bit. I reduced the size of the Negev desert by a lot because this map has to be practical. A person needs to be able to cross this entire map either on foot or by bike. So making it, you know, the long road that the Negev desert is, it's not really a road, but I mean it's such a huge, massive place. It encompasses 60% of the entire landmass of Israel. So I kind of had to make it shorter, and it also kind of helped me make the map split into three distinct parts. There's the south, the center, and the north, which is very important for Israelis. That's basically what Israelis see. That's how they see the country. Final change I also made was that I brought the island of Cyprus from where it was, and I kind of brought it closer to the Israeli shoreline and kind of inverted it and cut off a piece of it. It's nothing against the Cyprian people. I really loved the concept of some earlier Pokemon games, that they have this sort of separate group of islands that are a little bit away from the main region, but you can get there through surfing on Pokemon and some of the earlier Pokemon games. I really like that, and I thought it'll be a great way to take advantage of this new modern technology introduced by the Switch, where you can just you have these amphibian bikes that you can just go from land into water and just cycle all the way to faraway islands. I mean, the Isle of Armor, say what you will about it, but the Isle of Armor really expanded on that concept. We can just cycle through the water from island to island, maybe encountering a few Sharpedos along the way, maybe encountering some water-dwelling Pokemon. And I really like that concept. I decided to kind of expand upon that. So I decided to have Cyprus be an island that's part of the region. And you can get there. First of all, I'm not really much of a genius when it comes to game balancing. So I kind of figured it'll be nice if you can get to that island very early on in the game. Most cases, the TM for Surf can only be obtained after 5 or 6 gym badges, something like that. So you kind of have to advance pretty far into the game in order to reach these locations. And obviously TMs are no longer a thing, that's why they changed it to rideable Pokemon, and in the most recent game, that's why you had the Rotom bike. So you have the bike, the same thing you have in every single Pokemon game, but once you get this 5th or 6th gym badge, some guy upgrades your bike, and now you can ride your bike on water as well as on land. I figured I'd do something similar to that, but I don't want to limit the possibilities of reaching this island. First of all, one of the most important thing to me in this game is to make it as open and as accessible as possible. So I kind of decided to forego the usual formula of you have to battle the gyms in a mostly linear way. You go through Gym 1, then Gym 2, then Gym 3. I decided to give the players a little bit more freedom to do that. So first of all, I hope I can mark this on the map, but the trainer starts, I hope I'm pointing in the right direction, he starts at a town called Wheatland, which is based on Bethlehem, which is the same city that Jesus was born. That's a really big part of that. Jesus, obviously, and all the parts of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam play a huge role in this game. But for the most part, let's just try to stay slow. Try to take it baby steps at the moment. You start at the same city as Jesus was born. You go up north to a city that's based on Jerusalem. That's where you have your first gym. Your first gym, and that's mandatory. You'll know no matter how you play the game, you're always going to have your first gym be the Jerusalem gym. Now after that, the possibilities are at your command. You can go to the north, you can go to the south, you can go to the west. It's all up to you. You can go whichever way you go, and you can battle every single one of those gyms, other than the first and last one. I'll get to that in just a second. You can battle every single gym in any order you choose to. As you can see, there are 7 gyms. There's a reason for that. So the first one is in Jerusalem. There are 2 in the north, 2 in the south, 2 in the west, and technically 2 in the east. We'll get to that in just a second. So you battle the first gym. You can choose the order of the gyms, and hopefully by the time I'll actually get around to finding someone that can actually design this game, the technology behind the game code will allow for it to happen. But what I really want to have happen is that the gym leaders kind of change their battle strategy, change the difficulty depending on how many badges you have. Again, this is because part of the linearity of Pokemon games is that you progress through the region in a very linear way, but as a result, the wild Pokemon and the trainer battles, and more importantly the gym battles you face along the way, kind of match themselves to whatever difficulty level you're supposed to have at that moment. I want to see if there's a way to change that. So if you have 1 or 2 gym badges, the wild Pokemon and random trainer battles will be on the lower level side. But if you have, like, say 5, 6, or 7 gym badges, all the wild Pokemon you can encounter, and the trainer battles you can encounter, and more importantly, the gym leaders are going to have much higher level Pokemon, depending on your personal level. Again, it's a concept. It's not practical at the moment. If need be, I might need to change that rule to kind of and make the map much more linear, and I can already kind of see where am I going to take this. But again, this is only a concept at the moment. It's not what it's going to actually look like. So we're gonna have to wait and see if that'll be a possibility by the time I'll actually get to designing designing this game. But that's just the idea. So anyways, as I mentioned, you can you start in the city based on Bethlehem, you go all the way to a city based on Jerusalem, and then you can go either to the north, to the south, or just go east to a city that is very clearly based on Tel Aviv, as you can see by the familiar landmarks. Now, once you get to either Tel Aviv or the city that's based on Haifa, which is a little bit north of Tel Aviv, once you beat the gym in either one of those cities, you can immediately go to the island that is based on Cyprus. You can immediately go after that, but you have to beat the gym in order to do that. You can only go to that island with 2 gym badges. Again, I didn't want to restrict the island. If you want to go to the island, you can do that pretty much from the beginning, but you have to have at least 2 badges. I gotta have some limitations, right? So you go all the way. Basically, what I wanted to do is that, again, I don't want to have these restricting things like TMs or you have to have a bike and upgrade. What I wanted to do was to kind of make the game a little bit more interactive between the player and the Pokemon. So instead of just having the Pokemon randomly follow you around clumsily, I figured for water type Pokemon, it'll be much better if you can just do the same thing that you did in some of the earlier games, where you can just use Surf to get to the island. However, you don't have to have the move Surf on your Pokemon. I want to change this up to make sure that every single water type Pokemon, or a Pokemon that kind of makes sense for it to exist in a water type of environment, every single one of those Pokemon can actually get you across water. You can surf on Pokemon whenever you want. I think that'll be the best course of action. Now, of course, it's a little bit more restricting. It's because you have to have a water type Pokemon in order to do that. So I decided to go one step ahead of that and just make sure that you don't have to have a water type on your team, even though it's a really good idea. You can get to the island without having to use a water type. So in the port in the city that's based on Haifa, and in the port that is very clearly based on Tel Aviv, there's like a rental service that kind of rents you water type Pokemon that allows you to traverse through the water so you can get to the island based on Cyprus without having to have a water type Pokemon. The only downside is that you have to pay for it. It's a rental service. There's a guy like on the port, and there's these 2 kind of guys waiting for you on the shore that take the Pokemon back with them as soon as you reach. So as soon as you reach the island. So if you want to get back to the mainland, you either have to use one of your own water types, or just rent it again from the island to get back to the mainland. But that's it for the island. As for the other landmarks, hold on, I'm gonna zoom a bit. As you can see, I really went all out with the design of the buildings and the landmarks. The gems are you can kind of see that it's a very repeating pattern on these gyms. They all mostly look the same, except that they have different colors. That's obviously meant to symbolize the different types. Just to be clear, the 2 over here in the north, the one in Haifa is a poison type gym. The one in the city based on Tiberia is flying type gym. The gym on Cyprus is a grass type. The gym in Tel Aviv is normal type. The gym in Jerusalem is rock type. Now, if you go all the way down to the south, the city in the city based on Beersheba, the city where I live, by the way, best city in the world. But it's basically a water type gym, and the gym that it is in the city based on Eilat is a ground type gym. There is a reason for that, but I won't go into it right now. I'll save that for more of a story based video, where I kind of explain the story and the reason behind why these things are the way that they are. And I'm also going to save it for a video that I go completely and entirely over the map itself and explaining kind of the history of every single city and why I chose specifically the names that I chose, which I haven't actually revealed to any of you guys yet. So yeah, those are it. That's it for all the 7 gems that you can see. But the 8th gym is in Jerusalem. So the idea was that you kind of finish your journey in the same place where you started it, mostly. So you kind of start in a city based on Bethlehem. You go north to Jerusalem. You have your first gym battle, which is a rock type gym. Then you go all over the region and kind of battle all the other 6 gyms, the flying, poison, grass, normal, water, and ground type gyms. Then you go back to Jerusalem, the same building where you had your first gym battle, the rock type gym, and then there's a second gym right next to it, which you can't really quite see on the map. I'm gonna probably have to have a few Photoshop changes to the buildings. That's one of the things I didn't really quite get enough time to talk to the artist about. That's not a fault of the artist. I just didn't really think about it in time. So where you can find the rock type gym, there's also a secondary gym. There's also a steel type gym. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. That's the 8th gym. I'm not quite sure where to put the Pokemon League or the Elite Four. I'm guessing it's going to be in the same type of building complex where both the rock type and the steel type gym happen to be in. Of course, the main problem with that is that it kind of eliminates the concept of Victory Road. So I'll either have something similar to Victory Road as a challenge in that same building, or maybe I'll just you have to go to a certain place and prove your worth in a Victory Road type of a thing before you can actually challenge the Elite Four. Maybe I'll do something like that. Again, the story in and of itself is mostly a work in progress. I still have so many other concepts that I need to fully flesh out that I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to make them. But I have a feeling you're gonna like the final design that I have for the story. Now, going back to talking about the landmarks, every single landmark that you see on this map is roughly based on actual landmarks from Israel in their respective cities. Of course, I also moved a couple of cities around. As you can see, there's something right in between the city that's based on Haifa and Tel Aviv. I'm not sure how to pronounce it in English. That's Akre. In Hebrew it's called Akko, but the thing is, it's north to Haifa. I kind of moved it back to kind of put it in between the city of Tel Aviv and Haifa. This thing is, I really needed a city to be in that particular place, and that was the city with the most historical significance that I was specifically looking for. So I moved that city from over there and put it in between those two cities for design purposes. Now again, this is a fake Pokemon region. I don't absolutely have to necessarily make it exactly like the actual map. Again, I already made a few pretty monumental changes. Like I changed the location of the Golden Heights. I took an entire other country and brought it closer to this region. So it's not 100% accurate. It's not even 80% accurate to how it actually looks like. So I think I'm allowed a few creative creative liberties, I should say. So yeah, every single one of these landmarks, as I started to mention, they're based on an actual location, and they're very important for the story because that's where you can find the legendary Pokemon, more specifically the mythical Pokemon. And yes, there are mythical Pokemon in this game, but I don't really like this whole event thing where you kind of have to be in Japan in a certain certain date and download a code, and then you instantly get a mythical Pokemon as a gift, which means that pretty much a lot of the people who play these games can't really get their hands on one of these mythical Pokemon because you have to be living in Japan, and in these times, in the COVID times, it's not that easy. So I wanted to change that. I wanted to have all the mythicals be inside these special landmarks. That's where you find them, and there's going to be an event for each and every single one of them. However, the main box art legendaries, which are still work in progress, they're going to be in some other places, more specifically the mountain at the north, this little mountain range where both Jerusalem and Bethlehem can be found, and also this little crater over here between Beersheba and Eilat. Yeah, that's where you can find the main box art legendaries, and that's going to be part of the main story. The mythicals are something that you can do, maybe the post game, and maybe in between it. I don't know. I'm still working out the kinks on how to make the mythicals available to you. So that's not really what my focus is for this video. The focus was first of all to show off the map itself, and if we make it, if we bring it back to the normal size again, as I mentioned, you can see that it's clearly divided into three separate parts: the north, the center, and the south, which is pretty much the same thing with Israel in real life. That's a lot of that's a pretty good way of dividing the country among the people who live in it. Now, I wanted to make each different part of the map feel like it's a different place, which is very much like Israel, because in Israel, if you live in the north, coming over here to the south, you kind of feel like you're transported to a different country almost. Same thing goes vice versa. So I wanted to make each and every one of those parts of the region feel completely different from one another, and you'll see more of that once you actually get to the boots on the ground aspect of actually walking through this region and interacting with people and Pokemon who live in it. So also, as I mentioned, it's divided into 3 regions, and the number 3 plays a pivotal role in this game. Obviously, there are going to be 3 main legendaries. I tried to have the numbers 3, and 7, and 12 kind of be recurring motifs in the game. As you probably may have noticed, there are 12 different cities. That's in reference to the 12 tribes of Israel. Also, there are 7 major cities and 5 small towns. That's kind of in reference to the 7 days of creation, and also 5 books of the Bible. I'll go all over all of that later, and more like when I talk about each individual city and the story part of the game. But for the most part, that's how I wanted to divide the game itself. Now, something, if you'll indulge me for just a few more minutes, is something that I wanted to go over with the starters that I just wasn't able to do so last time. So, as we all know, in Pokemon, there's always this idea of the type triangle of the Pokemon starters. We have, hold on, I'm going to try my best to show it to you guys. There we go. We have this fire, grass, and water. Here's the thing. You have fire beats grass, grass beats water, water beats fire. Everything checks out until now, except for occasionally when Game Freak decides to add a secondary typing to the starters. Now, if we go over some of the more notable ones, we have like a sort of type triangle inside a type triangle. So if you take the example of Sinnoh, for example, hold on. So yeah, we have fire and fighting, water and steel, grass and ground, which kind of messes up with the effectiveness triangle, because both, in this case, both ground and grass, in this case Torterra, are both doubly super effective against water, but water is kind of, hold on, water is kind of become neutral to the water and steel. Now, fire and steel kind of have an advantage over Empoleon, which kind of ruins the effectiveness of water against fire, because water is still effective against fire, but fire and fighting are super effective against water. And also, this kind of gives Torterra, the ground type, a bit of an advantage over the fire. It doesn't make it neutral to fire, but it gives it a huge advantage over fire type. Moving on over to another type triangle, which I hope I can do a much better job with. We have Delphox with fire and psychic. We have Chestnut. Sorry, my bad. Chestnut with grass and fighting, and we have Greninja with water and dark. Again, this is another type triangle where they have grass beats water, water beats fire, fire beats grass. But they have another set of effectivenesses is that where Psychic is super effective on fighting, fighting is super effective on dark, and dark is super effective against Psychic. However, dark is also immune to Psychic, so it's not exactly 100% a triangle, because one is just immune to the other. One just has an immunity to one of the other types. I don't think that is fair enough. So that's another good example of why I decided to make this another triangle inside of a type triangle. So let's move on to the a third example of a type triangle that I will try to do a much better job with. Okay, let's look at the Alolan starters for a second, with the type combination of Ghost and Grass for Decidueye, Water and Fairy for Primarina, and Fire and Dark for Incineroar. Now, obviously, Primarina has the advantage over Incineroar, which kind of, it's a double advantage, because he has the advantage with water versus fire, but she also has it, well, I'm saying she, but it's an it. So it has the advantage with both water on fire and fairy versus dark. Now, Incineroar has the advantage of fire over grass, but it also has the advantage of dark over ghost. And Decidueye has nothing. So it's not really so much a triangle anymore. It's an empty triangle. I wanted to make the triangle as balanced as can be. Now, if you guys remember my starter video, which I will link in the description, the type combinations I had were fire grass, water and fire, grass and water. Now here's why. If we look at my starters, we have Yasusis with grass as its primary and water as its secondary. We have Wybrule with fire as its primary, grass as its secondary, and we have Cribinate with water as its primary and fire as its secondary. Again, this completely eliminates any type of advantages that any of these would have over the other. I wanted this to be balanced. I don't want when 3 people, and yes, there will be 3 people battling each other in my game. That is something that I'm letting you guys know in advance. Again, I try to make the number 3 as prominent as I can. So you're going to have triple battles. You're going to have 3 people fighting each other at the same time. You're going to have battles with 3 people with each of them using 3 Pokemon, which adds up to 9 Pokemon battling each other at any given point. It's going to be crazy. But again, it's only provided if the technology of making these games is going to be as advanced as I hope it will be by the time I can actually work on this. So anyways, once you have this type triangle, which isn't really a triangle, it's a triangle. It's a triangle inside of another triangle. So that's basically what I was going for. I wanted this to be completely balanced so that it won't go down to just who has the type advantage. I wanted this to go down to who had the better training, the better stats, the better moves, that sort of thing. I wanted this to be as equal footing as possible. As you know, Israel is not really the most, how should I put this in a way that's not going to get me in trouble? it's not really the most calm of places. There have been wars in this region for thousands of years. This isn't just for in the last couple of decades. This has been happening for years. People have battled battled each other and killed each other over this piece of land. So I wanted to do, because Pokemon is already all about battling and strategy, I wanted this to be as equal balanced as humanly possible, to make sure that everyone had fair game in this game. And also another thing that kind of came out of it, out of this little triangle inside of another triangle. There's a reason why I've been using the the blue marker all this time. If we have the type triangle of fire beats water, water beats grass, fire beats grass, grass beats water, and water beats fire, and we add on top of it the fact that they have that the fire type starter resists the water starter. The water starter resists the grass starter, and the grass starter resists the fire starter. We get something like this. This is what happens when you put a triangle inside of another triangle. It's the Star of David and the national symbol of Israel. That's one of the main reasons why I decided to make this type triangle a triangle inside of another triangle. This is the way, to use a reference to the Mandalorian. So yeah, this is basically, I'm laying the groundwork to what is eventually going to become one of the main themes of the game: balance, equality, the pursuit of peace. Even though it's a game focused around battles and competitiveness, I wanted to give every single one a fair shot. And I am planning a scenario in the game where all three fully evolved starters will battle each other in a triangle battle. That's why I'm calling it a triangle battle, where three different opponents battle each other at the same time. Even though I'm going to have something like this, I wanted all three of the starters to have an equal shot at beating the other. It's all going to go down to who had the better strategy, the better training, the better stats, the better move sets, whatever it may be. I didn't want because if you have all three of them battling each other at the same time, of course the fire starter is going to attack the grass starter. The grass starter is going to attack the water starter, and the water starter is going to attack the fire starter. And that's a scenario that I wanted to avoid. So that's it for the starters, and that's basically it for this video. I really hope you guys have been able to follow along, even though I've done a terrible job trying to explain the concept of this region. But again, I have a feeling that once everything is going to be out in the open, and I can actually talk more freely about it without actually having to hide certain details away from people watching this, we're going to have it's going to be a much more simple explanation for this game. So again, if you've been watching this far, I'm glad I was able to keep this thing under an hour this time around, and I really hope you guys will have enjoyed the video. Here we go. Right at the end, I couldn't finish my sentence probably. I really hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I really hope you guys will like and subscribe, and hopefully continue to follow this continuing series of videos where I explain everything about this region. Again, I have the map right now. We're gonna go do another video very soon, hopefully, where I explain every single city and why I chose those specific cities and the names, the origins behind each city. I'm gonna do a video for the gym leaders, for the legendary Pokemon, for all the other Pokemon that are just gonna be Dex fillers, all the mythicals, the story, the history, the evil team, which I still haven't 100% came up with the concept for them. There's gonna be so much stuff to talk about regarding this game, and I really hope you guys will go with me on this journey as I explore this region that I came up with, the Molash region, and yeah, hopefully I can get this thing into an actual functioning game sometime in the near future, and hope you guys will love it as soon as it comes out. So thank you all for watching. and I will see you guys hopefully in the next video, which will hopefully come out. I'm saying hopefully a lot. I hope that I can get another video sometime next month. So until next time, everybody, hold on. Do this properly. Gotta catch them all! Hello again, everybody! I really hope you enjoyed this video, because I really enjoyed making it. So, if you like what you've seen here, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more awesome content like this. So, until next time, guys, I'll see you guys next time.